Good morning. Welcome Shem Stars. Under the heading of Chapter 5 Morphology of Flowering Plants, today we are going to discuss parts of flower, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium in this presentation. In previous presentation, we discussed that flower is a reproductive part of the plant and it may be actinomorphic or zygomorphic. The second thing we learned, that is the type of flower depends upon the position of the ovary as compared to the other whorls. Each flower normally has 4 floral whorls: calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. The calyx is the outermost whorl of the flower and the members are called sepals. Generally, sepals are green, leaf-like and protect the flower in the bud stage. The calyx may be gamopetalous, it means sepals are united, or polysepalous, that is, sepals are free. Corolla is composed of petals. Petals are usually brightly colored to attract insects for pollination. Like calyx, corolla may be also united or free. If they are united, we call them gamopetalous. And if they are free, we call them polypetalous. Now let's understand important terms related with the morphology of flower. Estivation. It is the mode of arrangement of sepals or petals in floral bud with respect to the other members of the same whorl. It is known as estivation. The main types of estivations are velvet, twisted, imbricate and vexillary. All these 4 estivations are shown in this figure. When sepals or petals in a whorl just touch one another at the margin without overlapping each other, as in Calotropis procera, it is said to be velvet, the first type shown in this slide. If one margin of the appendages overlaps that of the next one, and so on, as in China rose, that is hibiscus, ladyfinger, and in cotton, it is said twisted. The second diagram of the slide. If the margins of sepals or petals overlap one another but not in any particular direction, as in cassia and gulmohar, the estivation is called imbricate. In pea and bean flowers, all the members of Leguminosae family, there are 5 petals. The largest overlaps the 2 lateral petals. We call them wings, which in turn overlap the 2 smallest anterior petals. We call them keel. This type of estivation is known as vexillary estivation. Now let's talk about androecium, the male part of flower. Androecium is composed of stamens, and each stamen, which represents the male reproductive organ, consists of a stalk or a filament and an anther. Each anther is usually bilobed and each lobe has 2 chambers, the pollen sac. Pollen grains are produced in these pollen sacs. The stamens may be united into one bunch or one bundle. We call them monoadelphous, as in the China rose. When they form 2 bundles, we call them diadelphous, as in pea. Or if they form more than 2 bundles in the flower, then we call them polyadelphous, as shown in the figure. And best example is citrus. There may be the variation in the length of the filaments within a flower, as in the salvia and mustard. Stamens of flowers may be united with other members such as petals or among themselves. When stamens are attached to the petals, we call them epipetalous, as in brinjal. When attached to the perianth, as in the flowers of lily, we call them epiphyllous. Now let's talk about gynoecium. It is a female reproductive part of the flower and is made up of 1 or more carpels. A carpel consists of 3 parts, namely stigma, style and ovary. Ovary is the enlarged basal part on which lies the elongated tube, the style. The style connects the ovary to the stigma. The stigma is usually at the tip of the style and is receptive surface for pollen grain. Now let's understand what is placentation. The arrangement of ovules within the ovary is known as placentation. The placentation are of different types as shown in the figure: marginal, axile, parietal, free central, and basal. In marginal placentation, the placenta forms a ridge along the ventral surface of the ovary, and the ovules are born on the ridge forming two rows, as in the P. When the placenta is axile and the ovules are attached to it in a multilocular ovary, the placentation is said to be axile, as in China rose, tomato, and lemon. In parietal placentation, the ovules develop on the inner wall of the ovary on periphery of the ovary. Ovary is one-chambered, but it becomes two-chambered due to the formation of false septa. Mustard is best known example for it. When the ovules are born on the central axis and septa are absent, as in dianthus and primrose, the placentation is said to be free central. In basal placentation, the placenta develops at the base of ovary and a single ovule is attached to it, as in sunflower and marigold. So children, this is all about morphology of the flower. And these are the very important terms to understand family description of any angiosperm. So children, in this video we discussed about the morphology of the flower, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. We understood what is aestivation of calyx and corolla and about placentation and androecium. In the next presentation, based on these technical terms, we will understand family description of Solanaceae. Thank you, Shem Stars. That's all for today. You can drop your queries on Google Classroom. Take care.